Alright, drivers, I'm gonna show you something here. It's an example of why it pays to always pay attention to detail, things that are going on around you. There's unfortunately not enough of this going on, and really it's critical to pay a lot of attention to every detail you can. You never know when you might be putting yourself in an unsafe situation, or some other driver might be in it, or putting you in one, or in this case, it might end up with a costly problem. I ended up saving the guy next to me a lot of headaches, although it did cause him some headaches as well. That it was more just something I noticed. This was a guy I parked right next to today. I'm going to show you what I found and how I found it. I just found this leak here on the truck of the guy I parked right next to in Wichita Falls, Texas. How did I find this leak? What happened was I was inside the Flying J, came back out and walked in this puddle. Thought it was just water, but I was sliding in it. Water on the surface just doesn't slide, so I got a little curious and wondered where it was coming from. I thought it might have just been his air conditioner, like the driver, but it turned out it was coming from his right fuel tank. Kind of felt bad having to wake him up, but this was an emergency I really needed to get his attention for. Now, I hate to say it, but I think most of the people that frequent these truck stops probably wouldn't have noticed that, and probably wouldn't have said anything about it either. In fact, when I went over to talk to the driver of the truck about it, I knocked on his door. I really didn't want to have to do it because I thought he was sleeping. But thankfully he answered, and I let him know, hey, your fuel tank is leaking, and he thought it was his air conditioning condenser just draining the water. But I told him, no, it's not your AC, because I just walked through it and slipped on it, and I tracked it back to your fuel tank, and I noticed it, and I put my hand in the puddle, and sure enough, it was fuel. Once he got out of the truck and took a look, and he could actually smell the fuel coming off my hands, realized that I was right. It was actually his fuel tank. We ended up having to get an emergency road service call from the shop right next door that had just shut down for the day too. He had the road service guy had about 2 or 3 other calls to deal with as well, but thankfully when he talked to the first guy, I guess in line to get dealt with, the guy agreed, just don't worry about me, take care of that fuel mess. Fuel leaks can be a serious hazard. For one, EPA will go apeshit over it, and it can be costly to clean up. 2, with fuel vapors, those can be explosive, and to think I'm parked right next to him when that happened, it'd be kind of scary, especially if his truck caught fire or something while I'm sitting here parked next to him sleeping or something. So even if it's not you operating your truck, I cannot stress enough, pay attention to every detail you can. You never know when it's going to save you or someone else injury or death, or costly, a lot of cost. In this case, I was very fortunate. I don't normally talk about good deeds I do because I don't believe in showing off what I've done. But in the interest of educating others, I think it's important to show, just some of the stuff that you can find if you're actually paying attention. In this particular case, the the service, the technician who came over here to deal with it, brought out a pump. Ended up basically transferring the guy's fuel that was in that leaky tank into my tanks until my tanks were completely maxed out. And what I couldn't fit in there, we ended up filling up his service truck with until it got low enough where the tank was no longer leaking. But we got the guy at least temp fixed. He's gonna have to run off just one tank for now, until he can get home to Florida to get the tank permanently fixed. But I'm glad that we ended up with a good result here as far as everybody here being safe. I just can't stress enough. Pay attention to details. Don't have your head stuck in your phone all the time. And look around and observe. You never know what might be going on there that you're not even realizing. All right, that's all I have. So just please be safe. Thanks.